So we got the whole front end off. All the wiring's off for the most part. ECU's right here. So we still got to come through here. This wiring harness runs down. It tees off here to go down to like the hood latch, the coolant reservoir, the washer fluid reservoir. So that, I labeled it anyway, but that's all going to get cut. So we just got to pull all that back out. This whole harness here is 90% of the way out. It runs into the inside of the car. So we got to go in the inside and snip some wires in there. So you want to keep all this, keep the fuse block with all the power wire on it. This is the fan module. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that. I might just wire in my own fan system. There's the other ECU plug. So just go through, label everything. That one I didn't know what it was, so I just kind of put where it went. I'll have to trace those wires, but yeah, wire everything, or mark everything so you know what it was. I'll show you the inside of the car. I already have the dash all the way out. So I just got to come under here, rip all this crap out of here, get access to that harness, and figure out what we're going to cut. The majority of it we don't need. We do need the gas pedal, so we're going to pull that. Probably the brake and the clutch switch. Leave some wire hanging off of that too so we can splice into it. But other than that, there's not much in the interior we need. So this is the majority of the harness. So yeah, that'll get cut down. A lot of that is going to be removed. There's some more, another fuse block here with some relays and whatnot in it. Alright, here's the harness that we got left in the car. It's all connected to the fuse box and the interior harness. These are the two harnesses from the ECU. So I'll show you inside what I did here. We got a mess of wire. Alright. So this harness here goes to the rear of the car. Do not need that. This originally ran up. This ran up here. This part that I cut here is this harness going to all the HVAC on the right hand side of the car. When you cut this plug, be careful because you need these wires here. This is for the throttle, and then there's another wire here for the brake sensor, so you need all that. And other than that, disconnect everything from the ignition. I'm not sure if you need the clutch sensors. And then here's the fuses, or the relays. There's a relay block there, a relay block here. These colored plugs were plugged in, going up into the other harness that connects to the ECU. So just pull those out of the box up there. And this is where the main harness comes into the engine bay, or into the cabin from the engine bay. So it kind of had to, this is bolted on in a couple places. Take those bolts off, pull this grommet out, and I am hoping we can fit the harness through that hole right there. If not, we might have to do a little cutting on the firewall to get the whole harness through without taking it all apart. So yeah, that is the harness. Once I get the rest of this harness out, I'll show you guys what it looks like on the ground. And then we can start cutting out what we don't need. A lot of this we're not going to use, obviously. This is all for interior stuff, but there are some items that we do need to reuse, so it's best to just pull it all out and do it all on the ground. So yeah, I'll update you guys here in a bit. So this section here is the harness that was inside the car. This has got your relays. I believe that's a glow plug, so we'll need to wire that in. That 109, that is the main power relay, so we're going to pull those out. Throttle wirings here, so we'll need to cut that off, adapt it to this harness here. So there's two separate harnesses for each ECU plug. This one here is basically done. Like, you don't really need to splice anything. It's pretty much ready to go for you. It's got all your injection pump harness here, third injector, the needle valve, a couple other things for the injection pump. So that harness is pretty much good to go. This one here is going to need some splicing. This one has all the EGR, the N75, the ASV, the map sensor here, coolant glow plugs. I'm not sure if I'm going to use those yet. So yeah, basically we just pull what we need out of this harness, adapt it to this harness, and run power to the ECU, obviously all the grounds, and that should be it. Other than if you want cruise, you're gonna have to wire up the clutch and the brake sensors. There is one. The other one is somewhere in here, right here. The brake actually has two. I'm not sure exactly which one you need. One is for the brake lights, and one is for to cancel the cruise control. So I'm not sure. I'm probably not going to use cruise on my truck, so I probably won't have to worry about any of that. But yeah, that's it. So basically we just need to strip all that shielding off, take out what we don't need. Like here, that went to the original shifter. We're not going to use that. That's for the starter. I'll probably end up using a wire from the Toyota ignition. So yeah, I need to get some wiring diagrams, get all this shielding ripped off, trace some wires, probably do away with these and just do a solder joint instead of these connections, because we're only going to have a few wires going through here. There's no need for 5-bit connectors when you only got a few wires. So yeah, it's a learning process. I don't know much about it. I've never done it. I'm learning as I go. This is all just from my own research online. So I'll show you guys what it looks like when we dig into it a little bit more. But that's what you need to pull out of the car. And I don't know if it's 100% necessary to pull this whole harness out of the cabin, but I did just so I have it all in front of my face and I can trace everything. It's easy. There was some of it that did run into the engine. All this is right here. These main power wires go onto the fuse box on top of the battery. So there is some, that's all the fan control stuff, which I probably won't use. AC alternator. What's that one? Oh, horns. Don't need that. Some more AC, coolant. So I'm not sure exactly what we're using now for this, but I will let you guys know what I end up cutting off and splicing into this harness over here.